Welcome back to Launch Your Light, a podcast that covers the soul and strategy of running a business and sharing your heart's work with the world. Ain't that the truth? We are here January 2nd, 2025, with our favorite astrologer, Inese. Welcome to the show in the new year.
Hi, Happy New Year. It's so good to be alive still on this planet. We made it.
Okay.
Anyone who's listening to this, we have made it to 2025. Congratulations. You're one of the alive ones.
But really, I think a lot of people feel like that.
Yeah, and the energy shifted. It's like the whole but I was thinking it's like the whole fabric of reality is just the mind. Like it shifted like over the last few weeks. And then
Mm.
like it's kind of like we're stepping into who it's a new, but also there's a responsibility, and we're gonna talk about all of it. Maybe let's start with the big one because there's a lot. The big outer planets are changing signs. So this doesn't happen. This is a really kind of really intense, not intense, like everything's intense right now, but it's a lot of change because we haven't had outer planets change signs in 1 year. Like in
Oh,
6 months,
wow.
we have Pluto has moved. So Pluto, let's go into it. Pluto has moved in Aquarius. So we are still adjusting to this big 20-year long transit on last. So Pluto moved in Aquarius November 19th. So we are still adjusting to that. Then Neptune has been in Pisces for a long, long time and enters in Aries on 30th of March 2025. So which is this year. And then it goes back a little bit in Pisces, and then it goes in Aries for good on 26th of January 2026 and stays there until 2039.
Wow.
So Neptune moves really slow. So these are long transits. So we are still really close to the anaretic degree. So this is a lot of dissolving, um, just dissolving. I don't know what else to add. We are
Mm.
dissolving everything. That we are not taking into the new world. Like that's the kind of gist of what can I say
So
about
just
Neptune.
to recap for our readers, basically what a lot of people are sensing and feeling is that the outer planets, the big planets, they have a lot of depth to them. They have a lot of power to them, right? It takes longer for them to transit around the sun.
Yeah.
A bunch of them, if not what, all of them, five of them are changing signs this year, correct? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Gemini, and Pluto just changed. So
Right.
five big so these are big energies. So they are more subtle. They're not like personal planets. Which
Mm.
move slow, so fast. They are slower but more subtle. But let's say Pluto took six. It was now is in a 20-year-old. It takes 20 years. So there's a subtle energy. So Neptune has a spiritual, dissolving, divine energy, but it's like unity, like
Mm.
consciousness, and the whole like this collective subconscious. And then Uranus moves in Gemini from Taurus. So Uranus has been in Taurus, affecting our resources, like resource distribution, our values, our agriculture, all the Taurus themes.
Mm.
So Uranus will move into Gemini, which is communication,
Mm.
networking, on 7th of July this year. And then it's going to be there until 2033. So
Wow.
also these transits we will unpack as they come along more. This
Yeah,
is
right.
going to be an intro.
No, this is
So this
great.
Uranus is a revolutionizer. Like there's an energy that revolutionizes, that disrupts, destroys, not destroys in a Pluto sense, but kind of disrupts so that the newness, it's a visionary energy. So the new, Uranus always brings the
Woo.
new. So this Uranus will revolutionize and disrupt how we think, how we
Wow.
communicate. So AI and technology comes into that, how we share information, as well as media, education, and transport. So those will change. There could be a lot of breakthroughs, and it will also, so in the Gemini part of your chart, this is gonna create more disruption, but also there's breakdowns, but they eventually manifest as breakthroughs because that's
Yeah.
the energy. Like it's a rebel energy, it's a visionary, it's genius energy. So all of these things, Gemini is of air energy, so it's the communication will change a lot and it will speed up.
Mm.
So next, Saturn has been in a Pisces for the last 3 years, approximately, and then Saturn enters in Aries on 25th of May, and then will be there until 14th of February, 2028.
Wow.
Saturn is usually because it has a retrograde period, so it's roughly 3 years in a sign. So moving from Pisces into Aries. So both Neptune is moving into it from Pisces to Aries, which is from all the we're letting go, karmic kind of adjustments. Like a lot of karma has been cleared on the planet with these. Like there's a lot of release, letting go, which I've heard the letting go thing, like release, let go, let
I
go,
know.
for years.
I know.
So we've been in that
We're
energy,
over
and
it.
yeah, we are over it, but it's also was a part of this long. We needed to let go so much so that Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's the beginnings. It's the
Mhm.
fresh. Like it's that. What's the card in tarot when he leaps? The first one.
The
The
magician? Is the magician the first one?
no, the one it stands like I see the cliff and then it's jumping into.
Oh, I don't know.
It's the first card. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Somebody. Anyways, I don't know. It's blanked. So both of them enters in the Aries energy. So Saturn in Aries is about realistic approach to defining our identity, how we initiate actions towards our goals, because it's Aries, it's a warrior, it's the leader, it's entrepreneur. So Saturn in the sign is like it's our identity also. So there's a lot of we will be called to own who we really are and be brave enough. Courage.
Mhm.
Aries is courage, bravery, walking your own path. You don't need everyone's approval all the time. Just take action. That's a really good, strong Aries energy, and represents this transit opportunity to create new beginnings in your life by empowering yourself, channeling your creative energy into authentic goals. So what belongs to your soul, all of those real goals. Then we have Jupiter that has been in Gemini. Jupiter stays in one sign for a year. So it's been since last year, May. And then on June 9th, it enters in Cancer. So in Gemini, Jupiter, it's about again expanding our mind, communication, ideas, information. Um, in the chart, in your chart where it's Gemini, it's been about expansion and networking and communication. And then June 9th, Jupiter enters Cancer, where it stays until 30th of June on 2026. Jupiter in Cancer. Cancer is a cardinal water, so it's more emotional. It's connected to home and family, and will bring growth in that area. It's connected to your home, living situation, emotional, what feels emotional security in yourself, home, what means home, all of those things.
Cool.
And we can develop wisdom by exploring our feelings, connecting with what we need, receive nurturing. So it's a beautiful Cancer energy is really beautiful. I love it. Shadow of Cancer sometimes can be quite immature, but I think this Jupiter will help us to grow and expand in these areas. So this is short, and also moons. So moon's nose changes from Libra, Aries axis to Virgo and Pisces, but it happens on January 11th. So we're gonna
Say that again. Can
go.
you say what it's transiting into again?
So because we will talk about it a little bit more as it happens in January. So
Mm.
let's go into January, and I will go like one by one. So I
Yeah,
will explain the
great.
dates. So that's basically a little intro to what's coming this year. So it's big change. The change is still the change is still very active. Nothing is stopping. Everything is accelerating, but the part I think we have accustomed in a way to the speed of how things are changing. And the more we take care of our body and our mind and our heart and regulate and connect to our heart, the key to staying grounded and centered is just connecting, remembering to connect to our heart. It's not like it's not going crazy in the mind with the fear, or
Mhm.
because the element of change, a lot of people across the planet in waves, what I felt over the last year, felt a lot of fear. So I could
Mhm.
feel that it's not my fear. Um, and that comes with a big, big change like this. But I think we are also learning a lot more to stay in the heart, stay grounded, know we are safe, know that we are protected, know that we are guided, and to in so how we think, and I will explain with other transits as well, how we think and what we speak will become more important. Like we are realizing our power,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
also our bound. We learn a lot about boundaries with Saturn and Pisces, so we are really more careful about energy because we see we are burnt out, or our energy is used by people or whatever situations or places, so we are more aware of energy. So, and people gonna still keep learning that. But it's important to protect energy, protect the heart, but also know that we are always protecting as long as we live here. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
take care of yourself, be in your own energy. You
Mhm.
don't, not needing others. I don't know if I'm explaining
No,
well.
you're explaining it so well, and it makes me so excited because basically I get like my next what I need to do because I respond to the needs of the people on the planet, right? And then I design these things and then I get on these calls with you and you basically tell me in astrology language that it's exactly what I need to do. For example, like I'm being called all of January in this year, I'm helping people untap their unique potential more and more and more and
Mhm.
get, and then come back from being distracted, right? And then come back to yourself and then uncover another layer and excavate another foot deeper inside of yourself and who we are and kind of like turning off that noise out around us or the distractions, the attention, the focus, we're giving that because we're draining our life source. I
Exactly.
see people just draining their life source, right? And like turning back in and being like, who am I? Like, really, like, who am I? And I think that's going to be a big year of that for
Yes,
people.
and that's Aries energy as well. Aries is who am I? Because of the big cycles ending, the Pisces is like, ooh, distractions, like what's like going on? And now the Aries is gonna be like, oh, but who am I? Who are you? You
Yes.
know, what's your
Yes.
mission? What's your purpose? Because Aries is going to start to remind you, like, okay, it's not enough to be distracted. There's going to be a hole if you don't start to sit with yourself and realize. And also, oh my God, there's so much beauty and magic when we fall in love with ourselves, when we sit through the pain and
Yeah.
do the work and
Yeah.
do the healing. How incredible it is to be in love with your own company, with your own
Yeah.
energy, that you have so much to give to the world. Like, work becomes joyful, life becomes joyful, difficulty becomes easier, I would say. You kind of, when you become who you kind of are meant to be and own your qualities and your experiences and all of that, there's so much magic. And I think that's kind of where people are moving to next, but they will need a lot of support. So what, yeah, I think it's true to respond to this. Like, that's why a lot of light workers and healers are like, oh, I can do this finally. Like,
Yeah.
everyone's waking up to their own level. They are waking up.
Right. I mean, everything you just said is like, when you said it, I'm like, oh yeah, the millions will be going through this, hundreds of
Yeah,
millions, if not
yeah,
a billion at a time. Like a
yes,
billion people this year are probably going to have an energetic consciousness shift. I mean, guys, this is huge. And if you're hearing that, a lot of you who listen to this podcast, you're like us, me and Inez, right? And we've gone through like lots of healing, dark nights of the souls, overcoming transformation on our evolutionary path, aligning with purpose, getting behind it, showing up in the world in a different frequency and vibration, in your family, in your relationships, in your home, in your work, in your offices, did it right? And we need to hear these messages that all these people are signing up. turning on. I'm saying signing up because they're like literally finally like kicking off internally going, okay, I choose. I'm going,
Yeah.
this is a choice. This is a decision. I'm going to explore this.
Choice is really, really a key word because a lot about the power. Like people will be put in a choice point where we have to own our power of choice, power of responsibility, because people don't want to take responsibility. But now the energy has shifted. We can create our own realities, but we also have to take responsibility of everything that has happened, even karmically. Even
Yeah.
if you're in this lifetime, it's like, why is this happening? Still, that's deeper conversation. But there was something else I wanted to add to this. The choice will be really important, the power of choice, and also how understanding that with that comes so much. I don't know, there's so much energy when I say this, like the choice point and the power of choice and owning your own power and your path. And also when you were talking, showing up, the courage and the balls to show up and stand apart from the crowd.
Yeah.
Be the one. Be
Yeah.
the one who's different. Like for
Mhm.
in my life, like finally I'm seeing I've always been like that. And I've always been also half scared that something's wrong with me. Nothing has been wrong with me. I just have had the courage. But with that has come like all of the conditioning, like the self, like on the courage is really, really important. And I congratulate and celebrate everyone who has been brave enough to stand on
Yeah.
their own and trust their heart, trust their soul, trust their gut and intuition to walk that different path, to
Yeah.
walk the path that feels really lonely and isolating. But now it's starting to come together because all of us who've done that for a long while or for a shorter, we're coming together. That's the really beautiful thing
This is
about.
beautiful. I think this transit really highlights that. It's like, it's one thing to know you're the black sheep of the family. It's one thing to know you're the star seed of the family. It's one thing to know and feel and witness and observe within yourself and your external world that you do not fit in. You are not like them.
Yeah.
You are not you are not cohesive to regular
Something
societal
made so much
standards.
difference. Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
another thing to own that stand up, grab the fucking mic
Hmm.
and say, yeah, I'm going this way, or like this shit's whack. Like, yo, let's go
It's
this
like
way,
going
right?
through a dark jungle with no light, with just like the next, hardly the next step illuminated for sometimes, like when it gets really hard, like that's how I would say the image is. But the gems and the magic the magic, when I say magic, it's not like woo woo. Magic is present in everyday life, everywhere. It's just the how much we notice it. The people say they're always like, "What are you talking about?" It's like the people who are, distracted and in a rat race. But there, if we become aware and alive and have the courage to walk that path, however it looks for everyone, there's magic everywhere.
And I think this year is gonna pop that off.
Yes, I think
I
big time.
I wrote down some of the things I wrote down while you're talking. It's like it seems like this year is really now, like really setting the stage for the
Hmm.
new world. A lot of these transits, especially with all that Aries energy, is really going to
Yeah,
be like paving a new pathway, new illumination, new things lighting up. Lots of heart power, lots of sacral power, lots of anger,
yeah. It
lots.
also anger
Hmm.
to rebellion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, big leadership energy.
Oh,
Big
really?
new leaders are going to emerge this year, big time. I love watching new leaders come up. Don't you? Like, and I know I'm one of them too. Like, I know you're on that too. Like, a lot of people will be asked to lead even more, lead bigger, lead braver, lead for the first
Yes.
time in their life, lead their family and orient, right? Lead in office,
Yeah.
lead in their state. I don't know, lead in their community. Fucking
Lead
lead, like go.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives me goosebumps, and I almost like I want to like I get so emotional for everyone who just kind of stands up and keeps going, and then stands up and like shines that light because I can see through them how much they've been through, including yourself, and then to see them just come alive and be guided by God and whatever you believe in, a higher power. When we aligned with our purpose, there is something beautiful that happens that we don't feel like we're carrying everything on our own. We
Yeah.
basically become one with the universe and our mission and purpose becomes something that's really organically, we wake up and do it.
Yeah.
Like that's how mostly my life happens now. It's like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this. There's not really this big effort. There's lots, it's like shining your light,
Well,
speaking your truth.
can I illuminate that deeper? Because what she just explained to everyone is actually an advanced spiritual practice. When what you're talking about are and I'm not trying to like do labels or titles or levels here, but like there are levels to like awakening, right?
Yeah.
And you're explaining that like higher level peak. When we can get to purpose, it means you've done the healing. First, before we can lead, before we can do any of those things, we have to heal. Like there's a lot of healing and exploring
Yeah.
and aligning to self that needs to happen. And when people go through that process, they will naturally start to see that people who are also going through that will start to come to them. That is an external reflection that it's working, that you're doing it, that you're on the path, that you are shifting energetically, emotionally, vibrationally, and that people then you can start helping others with it. When you get to that level, I think that's when the purpose starts to kick off. And I think so many people are looking for purpose, but they're trying to skip the healing process. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so true, so true. It's just because the purpose is in you. Like it's not somewhere you don't need to look. You need to get the kind of the conditioning, the traumas, the ego stuff out of the way. And the purpose is right there within you. You will
Yeah,
know it.
yeah,
You probably everyone on the planet knows their purpose deep.
yeah,
It's just the ego is telling them stories. Like
yeah,
you yourself, so we tell ourselves stories, and then we look for confirmation in our outside world to confirm that we are right, so that we don't have to go to scale. Because the healing path and the path towards the purpose and the waking up isn't like a shiny sitting on a mat, like a
hmm
mat or a yoga mat. It's a scary path
yeah,
sometimes. I like those memes when they say you think it's like oh nirvana on the top of the mountain, but it's actually like in somewhere underground, like just screaming for your life, like I am crazy and going crazy. That's actually the truth. But then you find others like you, and now there's more people just being really open and
yeah,
comfortable sharing, because we so many of us has been through it. It's just come on guys, it's nothing unusual. We all
yeah,
going through weakening and the dark nights of the soul. We're going mad, then we're going like it's fine, it's part of the process. You're not, so if you're going through a dark night of soul and losing your mind, it's part of the process.
yeah.
Let the fear be, let it be, let yourself,
It's
because the
working.
it's what it's exactly it's working. And find help if you need. Listen to people that make you like I what I did in my dark nights of the soul. I don't know where going back. You just mentioned before this, but I think it's an important part because a lot of people will have a lot of many dark nights of the soul, like shorter or longer. I listened to people that they just talked, and I just listened to podcasts of people that, and they calmed my mind. It's just like there's a bigger plan, and that's how like kind of that's really helped me, because there was no people really around me physically who could guide. And that's sometimes that can happen to you if you're listening, that there's not going to be a physical person, there's going to be someone online or a book or someone.
And you know
Okay.
what's interesting is that our society hasn't actually ever given us the tool, the kit, the map to be able to do this. But you know what has? Storytelling. And my Druid Irish
Oh
storyteller will
yes.
come out now. It's like the template of storytelling, aka the hero's journey, is that. And I don't think people realize when they watch that movie, when they're watching that documentary, when they're reading that memoir, all of those designers, the directors of those, the writers of those movies and stories, they're following the hero's journey. And that's why they're so good. You know,
Yeah.
insert person, insert problem, big, massive obstacle to get across. Start the journey, meets a guide on the path, overcome something. Then the villain comes.
Yeah.
Insert villain, insert tumultuous thing, and we go over and we pick ourselves up, and then it gets rock bottom, and there's no way we're coming out of this, right? And then we come up, and then there's a peak, and then there's an apex, and then we integrate, and then the story's over. That's fucking it, y'all.
No, it's not. Well, that's the story. No, the story just begins. Like the part,
True, true.
the hero's journey is over, and the real story begins.
After
That's
that,
how,
right.
like, that's is our group of new ancestors that we are going through the journey, and now
Yes.
that we are establishing new
Yes.
ancestors. I love that. I love the new
Yeah.
ancestors. We are going through one of the hardest, like, planet. I love everything you just said, but because planet Earth is one of the most difficult classrooms in our universe. Like, the souls who come here are so badass, especially the ones that are really showing up for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm celebrating all of you who, I think it's the Aries energy. I love when you said, I think there's going to be a lot of just badass energy, just standing up and just doing our thing. And there's no more. Also, so let's move into Pisces and
Yeah. Let's
Virgo
go.
from
Yeah.
this, because it's really well. So we are moving. So we moon's nodes go 18 months, every 18 months, or 16, 18. I think it's 18.
18.
Yeah, it moves signs. So we were going through moving away from Libra to Aries. So Libra Aries axis is me versus we. So it's wars, like it's these kind of energies that we experience. Um Alliances, like we were reshuffling alliances, and there were wars, and there's that energy, me versus we. Now we're moving into from Virgo in the axis Virgo Pisces. So we're moving away from Virgo, which is the critic. It can be internally critical, externally critical, and the perfectionist. I think a lot that energy we're talking, that's why I remembered. We're moving away from that being perfection and so much detail oriented into Pisces.
Hmm.
And Pisces is, yeah, every 18 months. Um, so it amplifies our need for unity, the compassion, and so we will be addressing everything that's unresolved from Virgo energies, which is what I said, like the perfectionist, the critical, the needing everything to be perfect. I think a lot of us has sometimes get stuck in that energy, if you know what I mean. So there now is going to be a more of a healing that and moving towards connecting. There's a lot of, I think, connecting to divine,
Hmm.
connecting to spirit realm. If people will become, it will become more natural, connecting to the heart and the soul, the purpose, all of those things.
The way I explain Pisces to people is, or like the lifetime of a Pisces, or like the lessons of a Pisces, is from victim to mystic. It's almost like
Yeah, I love
that.
that.
That's the range that sign can hold. Like, damn, right? From like rose-colored glasses to all-seeing eye. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and or from addiction and homeless, like Pisces in the
Yeah.
shadow is completely addicted to something, or just homelessness, or just like being like in this realm where material doesn't exist, into this mystic, like this elevated, connected person who just exudes like
Mhm.
wisdom.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah,
I like, and I'm just gonna continuously show up and be more real on this call, LOL, in all my
yeah,
work. But literally, I have like a Pisces in my life who's like full on addicted to alcohol and drugs and is like, no, I'm fine. You guys are not fine. I'm totally great. I've got this all under control, and has like lost everything. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and I'm just looking at this person being like, oh, this is your path. Like, this is your healing journey. Like, wow, not taking it personally, not just kind of like observing because I can't help it. I'm not a professional in any of those things, but just being like
yeah,
really watching it like personified. You know what I mean? I'm like, full on addiction,
yeah.
full on has lost everything, rose-colored glasses. I'm right. You all are wrong. Right? Like you guys are all delusional.
Delusion
Like,
is like
I'm like,
shadow Pisces.
okay, wow. Like this is real. Like this is some real shit. And I'm like, watch this be the most profound awakening for this person.
Yeah, Pisces, like the Pisces shadow is a delusion and just it's dissolvement of ego, but it can be really, it can look like complete addiction. Like in my family, like my aunt, like we lost her to addiction when I was
Mhm.
young. She was a Pisces as well. So that's like it's a lot of, but then the elevated Pisces energy is this beautiful, my son has a lot of Pisces, and I can see this beauty in
Mm,
him. There, he has 5 planets in Pisces,
mm.
and there was a like
Wow.
I had, yeah, but there is like Pisces when if they don't. So depends on many things, and Pisces can bring a lot of beautiful things. So okay, not
Yeah.
this is getting my brain is shutting down because it's so personal. But like it's that mystic energy, is that elevated, beautiful wisdom that shines. It's almost like a living, like embodiment of spirit and love. When
Yeah.
Pisces is really elevated and lives that energy, it's just love. When Nikki was small, he was just going around and hugging other babies and
Oh,
laughing, not all the time. Just he's still like that. He still helps and like
yeah.
all of those things. And but there's also uh yeah
I think it's beautiful to see also these newer generations coming through and they're coming in lighter and lighter. Not just
yeah
necessarily who they are and what they are bringing to the planet, but because we're lighting it up, because we're lightening the load ourselves, because we're clearing it in the timelines, we're clearing it in the ancestral lineage. We're clearing this shit off the planet. Not everyone, not all the time, but like we're in it right now. And I know a lot of you
yeah
listening are like, yup, yup. And like so many of us are going, this ends here. I'm not
yeah
projecting that down another generation. Everything makes it through
yeah
that filter, and I'm sure we're doing damage somewhere. Like, you know what I mean? But, but like, it's cool to see, look at these kids coming through with lighter energy into families that have really lightened the load. Fuck yeah.
yeah I think both of us, both of his dad and I, have done everything we could because we just saw this like this light. And like it, I think, I don't know how to really put it in words, but it's there's been a beautiful transition. It light me up. There's something completely shifted when he came in. So I agree. The strength and kind of the quiet power that they hold is different. Like I can feel. So what we do is just create environment so he can blossom, become
Right.
stronger, but still hold that soft, beautiful, sensitive energy, because the world, tends to be that out of us. But we made sure, and we still every day are making sure that he understands the who he is. Like we just mirroring back. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a parenting sidetrack. Okay, let's move back.
Yeah.
Move forward. Move move forward to actually we're moving to, there's the Mars opposition Pluto transit that is a 6 months long. So we are in the middle of it. So it started, and this is an energy that is kind of squashing our ego a little bit because Mars is our willpower. So it started on November 3rd, was the first conjunction. Then tomorrow, January is the second, and the final one is on 27th. Usually Mars and Pluto transits are 3 to 4 days long. This is 6 months long, and maybe so this is we are
Wow.
there is a first there is an opposition. So Mars in Leo is opposing Pluto in Aquarius, freshly into Aquarius. So this is the most ego crushing, and this goes along with everything that we're talking about because we need our egos to be crushed. We need to look at our fears. And
Hmm.
Pluto is like showing, where are you not showing up? Like holding a mirror. Where are you not showing up? What are you afraid? The fears are coming up. So there's this, like, it's internal, it also can be external. Something can trigger you, like looking at the outside world is like, where am I not shining my light? Because Mars in Leo is shining your light, being speaking your truth, like being the light. So whatever is dimming that light is being shown around you in the world or internally. So because Pluto
Ooh.
is like doing, so we are being undone in a sense that everything that stands in the way of our light and our power and our truth needs to die. And so a lot of us are frustrated. Like I don't feel frustrated, but I feel the tension within me is like, oh, where am I not showing up? Where am I holding fear? So fear is ego. So that has been happening. So tomorrow is the second exact conjunction. And then the last one is in 27th of April.
Wow.
Um, okay. Yeah, and this energy is essentially it's created to free up our will and life force energy. So there is
Oof.
like need to things need to die off so that
Mhm.
there's more life, more power, more everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Okay.
so excited for my courses in January, February. LOL. After listening to this call, I'm just like,
Yeah.
fuck
Share.
yeah.
Let's
I'm right on time.
people, yeah, it's
That's how I
like
feel.
people are triggered to like now people will be seeking, I think people will be seeking guides and mentors and coaches and all of that because we are like, okay, now I feel that as well. Like I feel and in myself and in others as well. Okay, now we need guidance
Mhm.
because people are waking up to and all these energies are helping that. Okay,
Oof. Go ahead.
so let's talk about the nodes.
Mhm.
So the north, no, we talked about the nodes already.
Mhm.
Yeah, we did. Okay. Um,
See, that Pisces, yeah, we could.
this is,
That Pisces got us all, that Pisces got us all fucked
yeah,
up.
because yeah, it's the Pisces. Also, by the way, talking about Pisces, Venus enters Pisces tomorrow. So this
Oh,
is just like
beautiful.
we are in like this is a natural Pisces energy. We are kind of like
Yeah.
wandering in our minds sometimes and into consciousness. So
Yeah.
so Venus is so Venus enters tomorrow in Pisces. It's exalted Pisces,
Yeah.
which means Venus is at home, so it's
She's happy
compassionate.
there.
Yeah, it's happy,
Yeah.
it's compassionate, it's dreamy. It's
And
wants
sexy
to,
and beautiful and gorgeous and natural and goddess-like and divine, right?
yes, a
Yeah.
mermaid,
A
proverbial.
mermaid. Yes. Oh my God, this
So
is
this
great.
is like all the things. Like so, while it's in Pisces, we can allow ourselves to be that all of that. What else? So Mercury has been retrograding and Sagittarius and all of those. So Mercury is finally entering Capricorn, which is great because there's a more, we've been in the retrograde, we've been in Sagittarius. Now it's a more grounded energy. Sun is in Capricorn until 22nd of January. So Mercury is always close to the sun on a zodiac. So it's a more grounded energy and it's beautiful. Um, mm, yeah.
What do we feel
That's
like? What's the,
mhm.
so what do we feel for January? Because I know so many people, and I've been interviewed on podcasts, and I talk a lot about this in my podcast. It's like, it's okay for January to not feel like a new start to you. I have another episode where I talk about living with the wheel of the year, and I got interviewed on Nearly Enlightened podcast. My girl Gianna, go listen to that. But a lot of people, like, you might not feel activated to do diddly squat until spring, and that's living on the wheel of the year, and that's living with the natural cycles. Right. However,
Mhm.
what I like to tell people is like, but this is actually the time of year for envisioning, for being
Yes,
connected to the stars, for enjoying the long, great nights, for hibernating, for excavating, from really getting clear
absolutely.
about who the hell you are and what you want to do. So when it's time to re-emerge and start to show your skin again, literally to the sun, to the people, to the beach, to the whatever, you are more aligned with who you are. And this is a great time to do that. So it's almost like to me, it's like it's not the resolution stuff, and people who listen to my podcast are not resolution people. But a lot of us may feel that spark of like energetically, like on a numerology level, right? Things have changed. A new calendar year has opened. There has been some sort of a closure. You cannot go back into that fiscal year anymore, right? Like this is a new year. And to me, I'm like, it's a lot of like clarity. It's a lot of like questioning. It's a lot of sitting with myself in this time. And I think all this astrology that you just brought up for January really helps with that.
Yeah, and Mars is still in retrograde, and that's how I feel when you say cyclical. A real new year for me is in spring when Aries comes. Then the energy comes up. Now, like I said to you before we started the podcast. I didn't join the holidays today, and that was my choice, and that's how I felt. So, the numerology, I can feel the shift in energy because everyone collectively participating will create that shift as well. But if you don't feel like starting something new or so much taking so much action, it's really not supported like by Mars. Like it's really, you don't have to do it if it doesn't feel. It's more about, like you say, the dark nights, like on our northern hemisphere, and sleeping maybe in longer or doing, I don't know, doing things slower. What I've been noticing, I woke up and it's like slow morning, and I get so much more done in a
Hmm.
sense. Like when I do, I used to wake up, I was like, oh my God, I have to get done until my ADHD kicks in and I'm just like crazy.
Hmm.
Now, the slower I take the day, the longer
Mm.
the most I get done. And I think that's the energy of the winter and
Mm.
Capricorn. And there is seriousness to it, but don't get overwhelmed if you're not like, going to the gym 7 times a day.
Right. Also, this is numerology. It's a 9 year. Total
Yeah,
endings, 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 endings. And the animal for Chinese New Year will be, it's a snake.
like,
Right?
yeah,
So it's a snake year, it's a 9 year. So we're talking shedding skin, fresh
kidding, yeah.
new skin, 9 year end of cycles. What were the last 9 years like on the planet? They were fucking wild, right? And then all these transits, it's like this to me is when people are like, I don't believe in astrology. I'm like, wow, because just look around. This is the language of the cosmos. This all
Also,
of this stuff is just explains what we're all feeling, and you feel less crazy if you
yeah, and
look into it.
also I know. It's also funny when people say I don't believe. Like it doesn't matter if you believe. Like it's there. It's the map is there. If you don't
Right,
believe you like it's your loss because you're not using the wisdom tool that is present. It's like I don't believe in gravity. Like, well, okay. It's the
right.
same thing. It's
Yeah.
like I don't believe. Like how what doesn't have to do with what you believe. It's like whether you are in aware enough and tapped in enough to use something like that
And
to
deciding
better your life. Like it's
back
only,
to back to decision. It's like that's fine. If your beliefs will set the stage, you can decide to choose something differently or believe
of course.
something different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh,
Yeah.
it's going to be a wild year. I'm excited. Can I give one more analogy and then we'll wrap it up?
Yeah. You
Because
can,
this
you
has
can do
been,
anything.
I've been thinking, and you guys know I just like receive this information, my open mind in my human design. It just like receives. I'm a channel. It just comes through. But I've been making this analogy lately for the last year, actually, but it's making more and more sense. The subtle changes that are happening and what you're saying with the planets and where we're going. And because I think a lot of people are waiting for like a big, massive explosion to happen somewhere. And to me, it's like tremors more. It's these little tremors and cracks that are happening all over. And people are like, oh my God, look at this crack. We gotta fix this crack. What are we gonna do about this? In your life, in your home, in your house, in your job, right? So I think there's
Mhm.
like a vibration that's happening across.
Yeah.
But
I would go,
instead
go.
of someone waiting for like one big eruption that's gonna like end the
Change the world?
world.
No.
Right. And
No.
we've got all these doomsayers. We've got these religious people being like, the days of time are coming and blah, blah, blah. You know? So, okay, this is how it's a good visual. It's a good symbolism of what I think we're experiencing. In the same way, over the last 60 years, we've explored more self-care. Let's just take the self-care route.
Mhm.
It started off with exercise, getting in some exercise in the 80s, like jazzercise. And then people started to like maybe believe the chiropractor. And they were like, yeah, okay, chiropractors, crack my bones, get me aligned. And then people were like, therapy. This isn't too crazy. This is actually good. This
Yeah.
actually works. Like that was like the insert. It was like, work out, get your back cracked, go to therapy, maybe don't smoke in your house. maybe,
Maybe don't smoke in your bed.
maybe don't smoke on the plane. Like we started there, right? And then the 90s came. And it was like
Oh my God. Yeah.
yoga, water, stretching, Pilates, like 90s, like
Cold
power
bath,
walking,
the ice baths.
ice bath, power bands around your head, and power walking around the neighborhood. Grab your friend, grab your water bottle, let's go, right? And then it was like, okay, now let's do couples therapy. Yeah. Okay, and then we transformed, and then we evolved. And like, then it got more into like psychoscience, mental restructuring, neurological pathways in the brain, and neuroscience exploded. And people were doing now it's like central nervous system resets. Now it's
Yeah.
microdosing mushrooms in the forest. Like
Or,
it's
or every
gotten,
day.
or every day. Like we've got
Go, keep going with your.
right? It's like now it's like, what are your micronutrient levels? What are, like get your blood tested for $400 to find every fucking thing that's wrong with your goddamn body. It's like now it's so micro. We started really macro, right? Backcracking workout, get some therapy. You're fucked up. Your family's fucked up in the 80s. And now look where we are. Now it's like, no, I'm sorry, my central nervous system can't do the holidays, so I'm gonna skip this year. Right? It's like, here we are, y'all. Here
Yeah.
we fucking are. It's getting more subtle. And I think that's what we're gonna continue to experience. It's we're going inward. We would have never been able to handle these like micro central nervous system neurological understandings of ourself, maybe collectively in the 90s and the 80s and the 50s and the 40s and you know what I mean? We are
Yeah.
here. We're going very deep inside ourselves. We're really opening up these like caverns of the beauty of being a human on planet Earth, if you ask me.
I love how you say that. Yeah. I think there is an aspect to the systematic programming is turning into what's wrong with you, so you have to fix it. But how you said, it's really beautiful. We're finding out the magic and the power and the strength of who we are as a human. Like I think I like to look at the good things and everything, even though we are showered and like smothered with like what's wrong with you. You need to fix yourself. Like
Mhm.
that's kind of like where when people
I think it's
system.
going from right that era, like the 80s era, or like not 80, but you know what I mean. I'm just saying that timeline but like going from fixing yourself to uncovering yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hope we move more into like, wholesome, aligned, and people think, I think there's a lot of people are, okay, I like the part of that people are starting to think for themselves. A lot of like, there's a big part that still, like to follow and like to be divisive, but there's a lot of people that are like, oh, that doesn't look. So there's a bigger, there's a bigger available ability, no, for us as humans, like if we are waking up to these abilities in ourselves to see what's truthful and what works, what helps us, and that means also trusting yourself. So we're learning a lot of that is happening across the planet when people are like, oh, that looks like bullshit, that like a lot. And if you look at the media and like just as like the mainstream, like you can like it's turning to an absolute circus. And this
Yeah.
is the process of dismantling. This
Yeah.
is some process of the Aquarius, the age of Aquarius as well, and all the Aquarius energy. Yeah.
I'm so excited for the year. And I
Yeah,
hope
me too.
after everyone listening to this episode, you are too, right? So it's like a calling up of the leaders. It's a lot of endings, a lot of new beginnings, a lot of new cool energies happening. And I think this episode just gives you the permission slip to focus on yourself this year. And I think if everyone actually did that, we would all transform consciousness very quickly on this planet if everyone focused on on their own selves.
I think
And,
absolutely.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, also just to end up with the Aquarius energy. So the Aquarius energy is also like embrace your unique weirdness or whatever, whoever you are. So Mercury will enter into Aquarius. We have a new moon in Aquarius on January 29th. Then Mercury will conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. And then Uranus, who rules Aquarius, goes direct on January 31st. So there's a lot of, and Sun is going into Aquarius on
Wow.
January 2nd. So it's gonna become very, very Aquarian by the half, like say, like the middle of the month. So this is also your permission slip to be fully who you are. Embrace all the quirky, weird parts that make you unique, because there's no one else on this planet who is you and who can do things that you can do, who can
Mm,
be and share. So embracing that magic of who you are individual, because Aquarius is like the individual as well. Your individuality, embracing that, loving that, and
yeah.
sharing that with the world. That's where, like, I'm ending with that. Thank you
I
so
love
much.
that. I love that ending. Okay, tell us, what are you up to? How can they get in touch with you? What do you want them to know?
Um, so I have a lot of things at the moment because it's the start of the year. And so getting a session for this year, or getting a first session if you are just starting to be like, oh, there's astrology, I want to get to know myself. So I'm getting a lot of those kind of bookings as well. Then I'm doing a written report, which is 100 pages long, which describes the bigger themes, how it affect you. And then there's a monthly breakdown of every month. So you have a guide for the year, and you can just be guided. There's dates, there's like how you can navigate every month
I
in
love
all the
that.
areas of life. And then I have a mini offering of like an oracle that I put out today, like an or three card oracle reading from Kali, from Sacred Rebels, and Wisdom Oracle, which is just 1111. So if you want a general guidance from oracle cards, you can have that. Everything's on my website or Instagram, which you will find in the notes, in which is my name. My website is my name, inessanchik.com, or Ines Astrology on Instagram. Jayme will have that in the notes.
Yep. Okay.
Okay,
I
thank
love
you
your
so much.
offerings. Wait, did you want to talk about the deep listening one too? Is that a
Yeah, we can. So the other one that has been coming through is deep listening sessions, which are because we're going through such an intense change constantly. So I understand there's a lot of people who sometimes, not a lot of people, like as human beings, we heal in a space where we feel heard and seen and just seen for who we are. And I've seen that in my sessions. Apart from astrology, I always hold that space. So I decided to offer, minus astrology, just that space. So if anyone who is going through a hard time and just want to be held in loving energy and want to be heard and seen, then that's what I'm also offering. And you can find it on my website as well, or
yes.
just message me. So
I
that's something, that's just a gentle space where you can be yourself, you can be truthful, it's confidential. Just if you want to be held in that, that's available.
I also toured her website the other day and it is sexy. You gotta go look at her. So like
Thank
I
you.
love helping people with their websites and design and copy, and you nailed it. It's just gorgeous.
Yes, and
It's
thank you for being
gorgeous.
my coach and making all this possible, like all of the things that I'm doing.
You're welcome. It's what
Yeah.
we
Do
do. It's
you
our
want to share your
magic.
things? You
Okay.
have share your
So
things.
for January, I'm so excited. I am shifting my Fridays to in the Soul Purpose Collective. It's not going to be like open coaching every Friday. I'm like, this needs more structure. People also, I hear all the time people's blocks and what they need. And then I like to also help people to take aligned action with those damn blocks. And because you're my private, you
Yeah.
understand privately. I'm like, oh, that's a block. Let's clear it right now. Let's clear it right now. And people are like, oh. And then we fucking clear it in 15 minutes and it's gone. And it's amazing.
Yeah,
Anywho,
I know. It's amazing.
people need a lot of creations that need to come out of them. So I'm like, I'm shifting my Fridays to being workshop series through the month. 2 to 3 Fridays will be guided around specific workshop series. I'm kicking it off this year. I tested it last month and it went awesome with the organize your offers. Oh my,
Yeah.
that was fucking awesome. Anywho, I'm letting my work get more and more potent this year. That's my word for the year, potency.
Yeah, I love
Because
that.
I'm deep and potent anyway, and I really just need to showcase that. I'm not here for the 5-second attention span, people. I'm just not.
Yeah,
Anywho, the first one for January is going to be called Bottling Your Brilliance, a 3-part workshop series for uncovering your
yeah.
unique potential and learning how to craft your message for the world. Oh, it's so
It's so good.
sexy. We're
Yeah,
gonna follow that hero's journey that I talked to you about. The template of that whole workshop series will be
yeah,
following the hero's journey because a lot of people actually need archetype. That's what astrology is too, like archetypal understanding and archetypal play to
yeah,
uncover their own story. It's actually easier to kind of work through your own shit, right? When you realize like, oh, this is a play and people are playing out these different roles. Okay, that makes sense,
yeah. This is so amazing. Yeah.
right? So,
And the way
yeah, so
you, so just the way you also fuse spirituality in business is like the best thing I've seen.
thank
For
you.
the people that haven't worked with you, like if you when you talk about hero's journey and all of that, it sounds spiritual, but then you also fuse it with the very, very practical, like hands-on, immediate steps, which is like
Yeah.
the best part,
Like
like of it.
straight up marketing. Like that's what this is. Like, right? It goes from spiritual archetypal play to like, this is fucking marketing, man. You can translate this. You will leave with understanding who you are and some pieces of marketing and understanding how
Yeah,
to market yourself to the world in a unique way. Like that's the future, if you ask me. Instead of
yeah.
like, do it the way this coach made it. She made $500,000 a month and you can too. I'm like, that's great, but I just don't think that's working for everyone.
No, I think copy paste doesn't work almost for no one unless you
Right,
are very much the same person, which is very, very rare.
right.
So yeah.
Okay, and then February, I'm even more excited about February's. So February, I needed another experience. I needed another experience that wasn't going to take a whole team. I needed to be easy, I needed to be fun, and I always answer the needs of the people. So I was like, just get looking at and observing people. So I am creating, it's called Mind Your Business. A
Yeah.
28-day distraction detox for the
I love
small
it.
biz,
I need
yeah,
it.
for the small business owner, the soulpreneur, the entrepreneur, creatives and artists alike. Anyone who's draining their life source energy, focusing on paying attention to, caught up in other people's shit, it's going to be together as a group. We're going to flow through a 28-day distraction detox together.
I love this. I'm signed up. I'm signed up even before like 2 months before.
Oh, so
That's
yeah,
perfect.
that's where I'm having fun. And tomorrow is the soul mapping and strategy session. So tomorrow we'll be doing visioning. Every January, I do a visioning workshop with people. We go look at 10 years in the future from now. We collect as much information from that vision we can, and we come back and strategize that out. So that's all of these are going to be so accessible. Everything I just said to everyone, it's so fucking accessible. It's like
Yeah.
$33 here, $55 here, $28 here. And I do that because those are front door offers. They are not up, they are not ascension offers with me, they are not proximity to me. They are front door offers. And if you don't know what I'm talking about and you own a business, come find me and I will teach you what all that means. Okay.
And you have
Mm,
your links in the notes.
I'll have my
Everyone can.
link, yeah, somewhere. I got the links. I got to get better at links. LOL. Okay.
You need to share it because
I
that's how
need
people
to.
find you.
I know. I think I have like the ebook and the message me. I got all those links. The text the show host and here's my ebook and here's my website, but I get it better. 2025 goals, my friend. I'm so excited. All right, thank you for joining us again for this episode. I
Thank
love
you
our
for
time
I
together.
love it. I
Okay,
love it.
we will see you all in February. Bye.
Yeah. Have the best January. Bye.